organization which has been created to provide service to the nation in the area of DNA fingerprinting and diagnostics, and also to conduct high quality basic research. We provide fingerprinting service in two aspects. One is DNA fingerprinting for human identification, where we help the investigating agencies, including CBI, NIA, and so on. And we also teach the DNA fingerprinting techniques to all the forensic laboratories and provide frequent some kind of strategies to police personnel, those who come for training in National Police Academy and Telangana Police Academy. We also provide kind of training to Telangana and Andhra Pradesh judicial academies, where they come for training. We also have important aspects of teaching and training in the field of modern biology. We have large number of PhD students, and we conduct very high quality basic research in the emerging field of modern biology. And most importantly, we provide service in the area of genetic disorders. In India, because of the social structure, we have large number of genetic disorders in the country. Most of them are population specific. And when we talk about rare disease, in other countries it's really rare. But when we come to India, because we marry within the population, within the community, the number of diseases are very high. It goes in millions, although it's called as rare disease. Sir, we are delighted that you are with us when we are celebrating the Silver Jubilee. CDFD has providing service for the last 25 years, and the rare genetic disease laboratory which you have inaugurated is the one which will have more impact on the populations, particularly in the rural area. The laboratory which you have inaugurated will be connecting several medical colleges, particularly pediatric department in several medical colleges around India, and they will be contacting our scientists, and if there is any rare disease, they will send the sample to us. We will sequence the entire DNA or genome of the rare disease patient. We identify the genetic cause for that. Then we provide counseling to the parents so that they can avoid similar kind of child or children in the next pregnancy. So if we do that for a very long time, I think we can eliminate some of the rare disease in the population itself. So that requires very coordinated way of diagnostics and genetic counseling. On this occasion, I would like to thank our parental organization, DBT, the Department of Biotechnology, and the Secretary DBT for giving us such a challenging task, because CDFD will be leading the pediatric rare disorders program for the entire country, and the outcome of that will be very useful for the society. Towards basic research, you met some of our scientists initially, but some of our scientists were taking photographs with us, who are leading very excellent high quality basic research program, and the outcome of this program has been very well recognized worldwide. So the the laboratory which you inaugurated, the message, I hope that it will reach to the common people. That's what we wanted, so that they will approach and take help from CDFD for the benefit of the family, benefit of the society. So with that, once again, I welcome you to CDFD, and we are very much looking forward to hear your message. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Our heartfelt thanks to Honorable Home Minister of Telangana, Shri Mahmood Ali ji, for his gracious presence and all the precious inputs he has provided. And his presence has increased our joy today. The man of distinct vision and a fountainhead of illuminating ideas, an idol for knowledge and experience, and an inspiration to all of us. Our Honorable Vice President, His Excellency Shri M. Venkaiah Naidu Garu. I am profusely elated, sir, to invite you to address the gathering, please.
శ్రీ మహమూద్ అలీజీ, తెలంగాణ రాష్ట్ర గృహ శాఖ మంత్రులు, డాక్టర్ కె తంగరాజ్, ఈ సిడిఎఫ్డి నిర్దేశకులు, డాక్టర్ సంగీత ముఖోపాధ్యాయ, సీనియర్ సైంటిస్ట్ సిడిఎఫ్డి, and all the other scientists and representatives who have come from Delhi, from the Department of Biotechnology. I'm extremely delighted to visit the Center for DNA Fingerprinting and Diagnostics, one of India's premier scientific institutions of the Department of Biotechnology, and to interact with you and see what you people are doing, and then understand the good work done by the Institute. I am really impressed with the good amount of work you are doing in this field of research, and particularly the so-called rare diseases, and also, of course, fingerprint itself is an important aspect of life, because it helps us to really identify the people who have committed the crime, or the DNA of the children, and also the disorders that are coming in, the reasons for the same, and also the remedies in long term for the same. That's why I call it as a unique institute. The goal was innovating to benefit society. What is the aim of research? Technology, of any technology or any research. Ultimate aim is to make people's life more comfortable, people's life happy. That is the purpose of science and technology. The area for DNA fingerprinting and diagnosis of genetic disorders, and to conduct high quality basic research. The uniqueness seems really unique, because this uniqueness stems from the hybrid model, the two arms of services and research benefiting from each other. I am aware the CDFD's DNA fingerprinting technique has helped investigating agencies and judiciary in solving major cases. Similarly, CDFD has been the referral center for genetic diagnostics. You know, in the modern world, the crimes of different orders, different nature are coming. And also judiciary also is facing challenges. And investigating agencies also are facing lot of challenges. Your institute and the good amount of work and research you people are doing is really helping the cause of the people and humanity and the country. I'm very happy to note that CDFD has just entered into 25 years of its service to the nation. 25 years. That means you are entering into a prime age. 25 years is a prime age for a person and also for an institute. You have enough experience now, you got the maturity, but please note, along with that, the expectations of the people also is going up. I am delighted to visit the institute on this occasion, particularly when you are celebrating the Silver Jubilee. I would like to appreciate and congratulate all of you, right from your director to the lower level people who are working in various fields for providing this service for the last 25 years. And I would like to convey my best wishes to all of you to continue to work developing new technologies for better, simpler and cost-effective methods for diagnosis of various genetic diseases. This would help in better patient management. Friends, you are all aware, India has made substantial progress in the field of science and technology during the past few decades. It has been our continuous endeavor to provide succor to the millions suffering from various genetic disorders. My dear sisters and brothers and youngsters, an abnormal increase in the crime rate is a major problem for the world. This is a major problem for the world. I am glad to know that the CDFD is providing the state-of-the-art DNA fingerprinting service to courts, judiciary, National Investigating Agency, NIA, and the CBI for ensuring correct judgment in criminal cases and in providing relief to the family of the disaster victims also. I am happy to note that significant contributions have been made by this institute in these niche areas during the last 25 years of its existence. I am also happy to note that DNA fingerprinting laboratory at the CDFD, the successfully trained personnel of forensic science laboratories from several states and continue to train police and armed forces personnel in the proper method of sample collection for DNA-based identification. I am pleased to note that the Institute has been offering services for the genetic testing and counseling of patients with the genetic diseases and has provided such services to more than 60,000 families since its inception. But it's a huge area, a large problem. So you need to really reach people, and people should know that there is an institute like this and the services and succor you can provide to the people. This information through mass communication, through radio, through TV, through media, print, should reach out to the people so that they can make better use of this institute and your services. It is heartening to note that you have established nationwide collaborations with several clinical centers for evaluation of patients with unexplained genetic disorder. This is also equally important. One place, one institute alone cannot do it. Having collaboration with different laboratories across the country and in future across the globe will really help the humanity. I would also like to compliment you for the pioneering efforts establishing the APEDA, Agriculture and Processed Food Products Export Development Authority Center for testing the purity of basmati rice. This facility ensures that Indian rice farmers and exporters do not have to suffer from any loss of revenue by maintaining the premium price according to Indian basmati compared to other basmatis worldwide. Agriculture, which is our basic culture, it needs protection, encouragement by various methods. Even in the area of food processing, testing, addition to value, that will really help the farming community. They are the backbone of our economy. 60% of the country's population even today depends on agriculture. So more and more research should focus on agriculture. That's the need of the hour, because agriculture is becoming unremunerative. People are tending to leave that profession. But you cannot ignore agriculture because you have a huge population. You have to have homegrown food security. You cannot depend on imported food security. You need to have homegrown food security. And also, we must come out with new varieties or revisit the old varieties and bring them back again, because our forefathers has given us so much knowledge. In between, we left and we forgot. We must again revisit. We must learn lessons from COVID. This is not about your laboratory. I am telling to the general people through this meeting. People should learn from this COVID experience. The good experiences, the bad experiences, the challenges, the opportunities that are provided by this pandemic, and the new challenges that are likely to come, and you have to understand them and prepare. One thing I can tell you is that people should really focus their attention on their lifestyle. Lifestyle management has become again vital. Physical activity, if you are physically fit, you will be mentally alert. That's why our forefathers said, Arogyame Mahabhagyamu. So first you have to take care of health so that you can create wealth. Wealth without health will not live long. That will come through lifestyle. Sedentary lifestyle is causing so much harm to the society. Sedentary lifestyle and unhealthy food habits are linked to the increased incidence of non-communicable diseases in the country. This is also equally important. So lifestyle changes that have come in between, we should avoid and go back to our original lifestyle. I was just sharing it to our director and other scientists. Please, youngsters, see that 98% of the rural people, farmers, they are not affected by COVID. Why? No mantra, no magic. Because of the lifestyle and because they live in open, they have the advantage of air and also they enjoy the light. Light and air are vital for healthy life. In urbanization, because of congestion, pollution and tension, lack of attention, you start going by a car, closed. You land in your office, closed. You go to a restaurant, closed means not closed, closed from all side doors. And then you go to hotel, 5-star, all closed, AC, conditioned. Mind also becomes conditioned. And light also. You have in one room 20 lights, but there is no light to read. Passion. And we are all depriving ourselves about the nature. Nature has been so kind to India, so much air, so much light, sun. And we are not taking advantage of the same and thereby getting these diseases. And secondly, if you read WHO data, it says 61% of all deaths in India are due to NCDs, non-communicable diseases. Cancer, even diabetic, even all other BP, other things and all. So we need to go for a massive national campaign for change of lifestyle. And also food habits. Our forefathers who have lived for thousands of years, they have given us wonderful food. What is lacking in India? All varieties, for all seasons, with all reasons. Season and reason. There is a message in every food we are discussing. Your rasam, there is a message. Your sambar, there is a message. Your natukodi pulsu, there is a message. With every item. But of late, because of westernization, thinking and all, we are tended to go for packed food. And some boys told me, and I was talking like this, they said, sir, instant food, sir, instant. I said, instant food means constant disease. You have to understand this. Food has to be properly cooked. Your research will make you to understand what are the values that are being lost and what are the values that can be added. What are the proteins that are available in every plant, in every food item? What is lacking? This is area where you people need to focus more and educate people. You have to go for traditional food. దక్షిణాది వాళ్ళు ఏం తినాలా, ఉత్తరాది వాళ్ళు ఏం తినాలా, వర్షాకాలం ఏం తినాలా, ఎండాకాలం ఏం తినాలా, ఇప్పుడు ఏమి తినాలని మన పెద్దలు ఆది కాలం నుంచి, వేదకాలం నుంచి, పుణ్యకాలం నుంచి, పురాణకాలం నుంచి శోధించి పరిశోధించి మేళవించి రంగరించి మనకు అందించిన ఆ వారసత్వాన్ని మర్చిపోయి మనమంతా పిజ్జాలు, బర్గర్లు అని పేర్లు చూసి మోసపోయి, బ్రాండ్ చూసి మోసపోయి, were deceived by the names and also so-called brands. Chicken Manchuria. You have Himalaya here, why do you run after Manchuria and Bulgaria? I am not against those countries or any name, I am just telling you in a lighter vein so that it registers in your mind. Beautiful items are available in India. Our items are becoming now universal. Your idli, your vada, your dosa, sambar is universal everywhere because it's properly cooked, steamed, and a proper mix of food items. That gives you. You might have heard in this COVID, people are telling, sir, pasupu vadandi, haldi, జీలకర్ర వాడండి, అల్లం వాడండి, మిరియాలు వాడండి, సొంటి వాడండి, ఇది వాడండి, అది వాడండి అని చెప్తున్నారు అంతా కూడా. ఇవన్నీ వాడుతూ ఉన్నాం, మధ్యలో వదిలిపెట్టాం. ఇప్పుడు అది మనం వదిలిపెట్టింది ఆరోగ్యం. కాబట్టి what I am trying to tell you is, though you may think it's not directly connected, but it's interconnected. So we need to create a collective effort to promote awareness among the people, particularly students, school, colleges, the negative impact of sedentary lifestyle and unhealthy dietary habits. So we have to really think in terms of going back to our roots and then develop our stamina. Stamina, I was talking about farmers, na? And also the agriculture labor. None of them got because of the physical endurance they got. And they are eating proper food comparatively. So making healthy choices. What is healthy choice? You people can research and then identify. We should educate people. The one silver lining of this COVID is more and more people are resorting to freshly cooked, homemade, organic food. This positive trend should continue in the coming days, and we have to promote organic farming in a big way. Excessive use of pesticides has caused a lot of damage and has adversely impacted our health. So I appeal to everyone, including scientists, please focus on this and agri-related items also. We have experienced now how your research is helping basmati rice and also basmati growers to get a good price for their exports. I'm told APEDA Center was established more than 15 years ago and has a huge positive impact on Indian farmers and exporters, which is commendable. Being a farmer myself, I can understand the important contribution made by CFD in this particular field. The recent pandemic has brought unprecedented challenges to humankind throughout the world, and I laud the excellent efforts of the CDFD's Corona warriors who have been providing accurate diagnosis of COVID-19 infection. I am told that the Institute has undertaken testing of more than 40,000 samples in the past 10 months. I appreciate the contribution and understanding the mutation spectrum of the virus in the Indian population. Such efforts go a long way in ensuring our readiness to tackle any variants of the virus. I have visited the research facilities, interacted with some of you, conducted research being conducted in various areas of modern biology. I congratulate the scientists and scholars at this institute for the noteworthy contribution made by you in the field of cell and molecular biology, molecular pathogenesis, genomics, and genetics. I am also happy to learn about the research on how bacteria communicate with each other to cause disease in plants, which has been recognized very recently by the Santi Swarup Bhatnagar Prize to one of the faculties of your institute. I am pleased to know that the scientists at this institute have identified novel genetic mutations for more than 10 disorders in India, including the identification of 4 new genes, which is very helpful in genetic counseling and management of diseases. Genetic counseling also has become very important because the prevalence of genetic disorders is very simple ways and methods. So having successfully implemented national programs in infectious diseases and nutritional deficiencies, India is now witnessing an accelerating shift towards increased incidence of non-communicable diseases. Rare genetic disorders form a major group of non-communicable diseases. It has been estimated that about 350 million people are suffering from rare diseases worldwide. Our country is home to approximately 70 million. That is 1 in 20. A very high figure. The burden of these disorders have a cascading effect on the economic and social structure of society, since most of these disorders were untreatable. I am happy to note that the Department of Biotechnology is promoting genome-based public health research and asked CDFD to take up a major research program on pediatric rare genetic disorders. I am honored to have inaugurated the Pediatric Rare Genetic Disorders Laboratory today. It is going to be a good addition that way. I learned that the objective of this program will be achieved through a mutual, multifaceted approach, including telemedicine, genome sequencing, identifying casual genetic variations, generation of animal models, and the creation of database on disease-associated variants in the Indian population, a very good area. I am told that the results from this program will lead to more efficient diagnosis and genetic counseling of families suffering from inherited disorders. This program will contribute positively towards the Government of India's Sustainable Development Goals regarding human health and the objectives of National Health Mission to mitigate the societal burden of genetic diseases. With the implementation of this program, the scientists shall be able to increase their contribution towards identification of casual genetic events in unexplained pediatric rare genetic diseases. While once again lauding the efforts made by all of you, I would urge you to ensure that the outcomes of your research conducted in your laboratories benefit the common man, improve the quality of their lives. I am aware you are involved in a number of outreach activities to ensure that these fruits of research reach the common people. Aspirational districts center established at Yadgir, the backward Karnataka region, under the Department of Biotechnology, Umid initiative is an excellent example of one such endeavors. You need to go for more areas. My compliments to the director and all scientists, researchers and staff for their hard work, which has resulted in CDFD reaching the pinnacle of its scientific excellence. My dear friends, the purpose of my visit is to know better what you are doing. What are the challenges you are facing? It is not the CDFD alone. I am visiting the research laboratories across the country, from Arunachal to Andaman, Kashmir to Kanyakumari. After I assumed this role of the constitutional responsibility of the Vice President, I have been going to IITs, triple IITs, IIMs, research laboratories, DRDO related, agri related, fisheries, lot of areas where research is going on. The idea is to know and also to enrich myself, enhance my knowledge. Today's my visit is an education to me. And I feel that everybody who thinks they are educated, they must update their education from time to time. All professors, scientists, students, politicians, particularly, everybody should update their knowledge. Know what is happening in every field, challenges in those fields, and appreciate the good work done, pat them on their back, and then move on. That is how a country can progress. There is no dearth of knowledge in India. We need to identify the knowledge, talent, and then bring a skill upgradation, and then move on. India was once upon a time known as Vishwa Guru. दुनिया भर से छात्र आके भारत में पढ़ते थे. नालंदा, तक्षशिला, पुष्पगिरी, विक्रमशिला, अलग अलग देशों से लोग आके यहाँ पढ़ते थे. That was the greatness of India once upon a time. We must again move towards that, and we must give knowledge to the society, knowledge to the world, because we believe in the philosophy of Sarve Jana Sukhina Bhavantu. Vasudaika Kutumbakam. The entire world is one family. Share and care is the core of Indian philosophy. Share and care. We should not be satisfied by having enough for us and eating and happily feel Chittina Bojjaku Srirama Saksha, Desam Sangat Devudirka, అనుకోకుండా దేశం అంటే మట్టి కాదు ఈ మనుషులని గురజాల వారు చెప్పినట్టుగా ఈ మనుషులందరి యొక్క సౌభాగ్యం, వారందరి యొక్క సౌకర్యం, వాళ్ళందరి యొక్క ఆరోగ్యం, అది మనందరికి కూడా మహాభాగ్యం అనే ఆలోచనతో our philosophy, we must take it to field and practice and help the others. See even the PPE kits, testing facilities, even the latest vaccine, we are trying to supply to many countries. Again, India is taking a lead. India is on the move. Our Prime Minister has given a call, three-line mantra, reform, perform and transform. Transformation of the nation, transformation of the lives of the people. That is the ultimate, first life of our own people, lives of our country, and then lives of our continent, and then the world. That is the aim. So the field is open, the challenges are many, opportunities are provided. You are all fortunate. Some of the students who are all studying here, doing research, it's a great opportunity for you. Please utilize that opportunity and be constructive. Be constructive. Don't look towards destructive. One has to be constructive and obstructive so that in every field so that country can move forward and then march as a nation and then give succor to the suffering millions and also reach again the pinnacle of its glory. That is my message to you all youngsters. Once again, I would like to thank your director who has made arrangements for the visit today and also the other scientists who have all explained to me. I would have spent more time with you and I would have mingled with you all also. But you know, the COVID, the restrictions and also the protocol of the Vice President. Meeting people, greeting with people, talking with people, walking with people, eating with the people, spending time with the people was my pastime. I used to enjoy. But you know, now I can't do it. This distance and these other things has to be followed, at least to some extent, because of the protocol that is there. So I am deprived of this opportunity. Anyhow, thank you very much. Namaskar. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for all your kind words and encouragement. We assure you that we will put our best effort and we are always with you for all scientific and social responsibilities. With this, I am glad to invite Dr. Tangaraj to present the mementos to our respected distinguished guests. Thank you, sir.